Well, good morning. Y'all awake? Y'all bright and ready to do things this morning? I love it. I love it. So thanks for being here, all of you, all 12 of you, 9 of you. I don't know. So I'm thankful to be here. I get to do this really incredible job where I get to go around to schools all over the United States and speak to students, and sometimes I get to speak at conferences. And so I just wanted to take the opportunity to say thank you for having me. I'll say it again too, but I always like to show gratitude when I begin. So when I was 12, I was sitting in my mom and dad's living room, and my dad was sitting on the couch, and he wasn't saying a single word to me. Go ahead. Is it clicking? There we go. There's 12-year-old me. He wasn't saying a single word to me, and that's how I knew that my dad was really mad. He always just shut down. He wouldn't communicate. And my mom was sitting next to him and she was crying, and that's how I knew that she was really disappointed in me. And I had gone to a birthday party earlier in the day, and I was really excited to go to this birthday party because it was the first one that I had been invited to on Grissom Air Force Base in Indiana. I was the new kid, and I wasn't really accepted very well at Grissom Air Force Base, but I was excited to be there because all the things that happened at the last Air Force Base were over. And now I could start fresh and I could start new and something had changed. And so I was excited to go to this birthday party. And so I go to the birthday party, and this birthday party had everything that you could imagine that a 12-year-old birthday party would have. Like, it would have something like rocks? No, that's kind of birthday party that you go to. It had. You guys are weird. That's Jesus. That is awful. It's a kid's birthday party. It had doctors? No, that's weird. Okay, you guys went to weird birthday parties. It had like pinata, it had a birthday cake, it had presents, but it also had Virginia Slims. And nothing spoke to me more in that moment than Virginia Slims. Actually, what happened was this girl came up to me and she said, "Hey, Nathan, if you go outside and smoke a cigarette with me, I will be your girlfriend." And I was like, "Swaggling, say less." So we went outside and we smoked the cigarette. And after we smoked the cigarette, she put it out, and I thought, this is amazing. And she grabbed me by the shirt and she pulled me in really close. And I thought, I'm about to become a 12-year-old legend. This is happening. The heavens above opened up. I could hear the angels singing. Actually, it was New Kids on the Block. They were playing in the background. And then she whispered into my ear, "I was just joking with you." And then she pushed me away. And I heard all the kids at the party laughing at me. And so I immediately ran home. Immediately. Like, I left. And I knew that it was just set up. I knew that it was just an opportunity for them to be mean. And so I ran home and I run through the front door. And my mom and dad hear me come through the front door, and they know something's wrong. I'm home way too early. Like, way too early. And they could have said things to me like, "Hey, Nathan, nicotine's going to change the part of your brain responsible for attention, learning, and memory." Which reminds me, will you take a note? I need milk. I need to get milk on the way home. They could have said things like, "Hey, Nathan, nicotine will make like permanent changes in your brain. Like, you can't reverse them." They could have said things like, "Hey, Nathan, nicotine's going to prime your brain for possible future addictions to other substances." But they didn't say any of that. What they did say was, "Joey, will you read that?"
Smell nice?
Oh, thank you, but no, that's not what they said. I smell like cigarettes. Jill, that's very nice of you, though. Christina, will you read the next one?
Do you work out?
Well, I just recently I started, yes, but that's not what they said. Let's see. In the corner back there, will you read the next one, please? I'm so flattered, but no, thank you. Weird thing for my parents to ask me, though. No, actually, what they said was, "You're grounded for 2 weeks." They didn't know how to have conversations with me. They didn't know how to communicate. They didn't know how to help me set goals. They didn't know how to help me find my path forward in life. They just didn't know. And I really had great parents. I really did, but they didn't know how to do any of that. And so today, my goal here is just to give you 5 simple words. That's it. 5 simple words that are going to help you, and they help me, and hopefully they'll help you be more resilient. You can go for it, baby. A couple of times. One more. More resilient, go one more. Overcome adversity, one more, and embrace change. I'm sorry I gotta do the next, like the click next. The clicker don't work when we share the screen. Especially embrace change. Because who likes to change? Right? Nobody likes change. Nobody does. And nobody wanted to come in here today and be like, I hope something changes for me in this room. Right? But the reality of it is, by the time we leave this room, something in your life will have changed. And how are you going to adapt to it? How are you going to embrace that change? I mean, it's just a reality. But whether you want that change or not, it's going to happen. I don't know what it is, but something in your life will change in the next 45 minutes to an hour. And how do you embrace it? How do you overcome it? How do you adapt to it? And so these 5 words, let's see if Kate can do it really fast. Here we go. Preparation prevents poor performance. Those are the 5 words. That's it. So let's talk about the word proper really quick. All right. Oh, it did highlight. It kind of highlights. All right, we'll take it. When I say the word proper, what do you think about? What comes to mind when I say the word proper?
My mother-in-law.
Okay. All right.
She's very proper.
We sit like this. We use the spoon. We use the fork.
Yes.
Oh my.
Things are the way they need to be.
Okay. I like that. I like that. What else? That's good. What else comes to mind? Orderly. Yeah, I like it. Those are both correct. Because when I think of those things, the word that I think about is fundamentals. It's fundamentals. You can go to the next one, baby. Fundamentals, right? Fundamentals are the things that we do over and over and over again. They're consistencies. It's the consistency of life. And I believe that there are 3 key fundamentals to life. The first fundamental that I believe is the key to life is goal setting. It's making sure you have a pathway forward, that you know where you're going. When I leave here, I'm going to Wisconsin, and I can get to Indianapolis without a map. I can do. That's where I'm from. I grew up in Indiana. I can get to Indianapolis without any type of navigation. No problem. But past Indianapolis, no idea where I'm going. No clue. Probably end up in like New Hampshire or something. Right? But if I have navigation, if I know where I'm going, if I know what I'm doing, I can make it there. When you're working with families, when you're working with kids, if you can master goal setting for them, if you can help them master it, not for them, if you can help them master goal setting, then you're giving them a key tool that they're going to need for the rest of their life that will help them balance their life. That will help them achieve things that they never believed achievable before. Like if you can help them do that, you're setting them up really, really well for life. You can go to the next one, Dayton. Go forward. Okay, the next one is determination. So that's the second key to life. You have to be determined. So goals, determination, right? Determination is, go ahead. It's just commitment. It's doing the things that you don't want to do on the days that you don't want to do them. That's what it is. And I am going to ask you to make a change. I told you something was going to change for you today in the next 45 minutes. So I am going to ask you to make a change. But I'm not going to ask you to move where you're sitting. I'm not going to ask you to talk to somebody you don't know. Because I'm not that guy. Because I don't want to go to a conference and have somebody go, say hello to your neighbor. And I'm like, I don't even like my neighbor at home. So I want to say hi to my neighbor. No, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take your hands out like this. Let me see if I can do this. Hold this microphone. I'm going to put it on today. All right. Take your hands like this. All right. But what I want you to do is I want you to interlace your fingers together to where one of them ends up on top of the other. Perfect. That's your normal, typical way of doing it. Just go ahead and put your hands in your lap. All right. I'm just going to ask you to change the way that you're sitting. That's it. All right. That's your normal, typical way of doing it. I didn't ask you to put your right thumb on top of your left thumb or your left thumb on top of your right thumb. That was just your normal way. Anytime you want to make a change, you have to be open-minded, right? And cooperative. That's it. Thank you all for being open-minded and cooperative to making that change for me this morning. But change takes commitment. It takes a concentrated effort. And so I would like to ask you to take your hands back out. Sorry, Jill. Jill's like, I'm taking my coffee. Take your hands back out and just watch me for a second. I want you to interlace your fingers differently to where the opposite thumb ends up on top. Immediately. You know what I love about this? This is our natural reaction to change. I don't like it. It feels weird. What was your statement? What did you say? Oh, you like me. I like you too. We're gonna have to talk afterwards. We're Facebook friends. Let's do it. But so here's the thing. It does feel weird. It does feel awkward. This is actually the opposite way that I do it. My right thumb on top of my left thumb. This is not my typical way of doing it, but it's becoming more natural to me because I do this talk so much that I'm getting used to this. But if you were to do this, just do this 1,000 times a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, eventually this would, when somebody said, hey, put your hands together and put them in your lap, this would become the way that you do it. That's how goal setting works. If you set goals and you're determined to meet them, you're going to do the things over and over and over again. You're going to be repetitious about them so that you can meet those goals. And even on the days that you don't want to do it, even on the days that your hands hurt, I did this speech when I had torn the bicep tendon in my arm, and I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to do it because it hurt and it felt different, but I still did it because I was committed. I was committed to making sure that people knew that you can overcome adversity. You can embrace change. And that's what our families need to know, is that they can overcome adversity, they can embrace change, but it takes commitment. It takes a deliberate effort. And sometimes we go and work with families and we're just checking off boxes sometimes. I get it. I get it. Sometimes we just check the box and we move forward. But if we're committed with the family, then they're going to be committed. And if we can embrace change, they can embrace change. Sometimes we have to set the example so that they can follow. And then eventually, if they follow, they will lead their families. And I'll tell you how I know how in a little bit. Go ahead, Peyton. The next one is self-control. Self-control is one of the most difficult things. It's tough, right? It's tough. It is so hard. I will tell you that in 2024, I lost 73 pounds in 2024. In 2025, I gained 25. In 2025, my dad passed away in January, and I didn't cope well with it. That's just my honest truth. I didn't cope well with it, and I went back to my old coping skills. I didn't have any self-control. I was like, Oreos, that's fine. I'll eat those. I won't think about the grief. Right? Oh, Big Mac? Yeah, I won't think about the grief. I'll just take a Big Mac. That's fine. Oh, just add an extra large fry too, because I might need those. That wasn't thinking about the grief, but self-control. If you can teach families that, hey, listen, if you set your goals and you're disciplined and you have some self-control, you can change the course that you're on. You can absolutely change the course that you're on. And again, I'll share how I know that in a little bit. Go ahead, Peyton. They have to know that it's a long game. Change is a long game. Sometimes I work with students to help them quit vaping. I do a 10-week program with them. Their parents will come to me and say, hey, Nathan, I caught my kid vaping. Will you be your pro? I'm like, yes, I'd love to. It's supposed to be 10 weeks. The longest student I worked with, 36 weeks. 36 weeks. It's a long game. But I realized in the first week that vaping was not the issue. We had some other stuff that we had to get out of the way first. And that we were going to have to deal with the vaping later. We had to deal with the anger issues first. But change is a long game. And if we help our families understand that, then on the hard days, it's a lot easier to go, I'm going to stick in. Because this is a long game. Like there's a marathon to this. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. And I'm gonna hang in there because the results that I want today, it's not possible for me to get them today, but I'm working the process and I can move forward with my life. And really what this all boils down to is stuff that you probably already do. It's probably not even new to you, but if you walk into work with a family, you're probably assessing what the issue is, right? And you're probably figuring out what kind of resources are available to that family for building capacity. And then once you figure all that out, you're probably planning. What's the plan? How do we help them move forward? And then once you plan, you're going to implement that plan, right? You're going to, okay, let's go. Let's work this plan. And then once you work that plan, right, you're going to go ahead and you're going to assess the plan, right? You're going to see how it's working. You're going to measure it so that you can go back and go, okay, what's working, what isn't, let's fix it. You guys are already doing that kind of stuff. Families, probably not so much. I know that when me and my wife and my 4 kids, when we lived in poverty, there was no plan. There was no implementation to the plan. There were no resources. One of the hardest things for me as a dad to hear was my 7-year-old daughter say, Dad, I'm hungry, and there was nothing for me to do about it, except for me to not eat that night and make sure that she did. Planning is essential. Go ahead, baby. This is my freshman football picture. I went to middle school and high school in Bunker Hill, Indiana, and I'm smiling in this picture. But really, on the inside, I'm miserable. I'm sad. I'm mad. I'm frustrated. I'm jealous. I'm all these different emotions. And it's not like your typical teenager. These are rapid emotions changing quickly. And everybody kept asking me the same question. Go ahead, baby. Let's see. Who do I want to pick on? We can do that up there. Yeah, a little bit. I'm doing this. Go ahead, baby. Let's see. I know, but I think the conference does. I don't know. Actually, it was what's wrong with you, Nathan? That was the question everybody kept asking me. And when people keep asking you the same question, you start to believe what they're saying. You know, like if somebody keeps saying like, "Oh, you're really smart," you know, you tell a kid over and over again, "You're really smart." You know, you keep using your brain. You're really smart. They're going to start to believe that. For me, it was what's wrong with me. I got sent to the principal's office every single day, and every time I walked into his office, he'd be like, "What is today, Nathan? What's wrong with you, man?" I don't know. I don't know what's wrong. And I go to class, and my teachers would say, "Nathan, you never turn in your homework. What's wrong with you? Why don't you study? What's wrong?" I don't know. I go to football practice, my coach would say, "You ran this play 1,000 times, and you never get it right. What's wrong with you?" I don't know. I don't have a clue. And I really didn't realize until I started doing this kind of work that nothing was wrong with me, that I had adverse childhood experiences. I had no clue. I endured so much trauma as a kid, and I didn't know how to cope with it. I didn't know how to deal with it. And so I was just acting out of control, completely out of control. And I suffered with that all through life. And my parents didn't know how to deal with it. The only thing they did to me was, You're grounded for 2 weeks. That's it. That was the only way they knew how to contain me and control me. That was it. That was it. But there's some fundamentals to prevention. We can prevent this type of behavior. We can prevent these types of thoughts, and Peyton, you can move forward. The fundamentals to prevention are planning, right? It's the planning process. Go ahead, Peyton. It's like having a strategy. You can't walk into a family without a strategy. You can't walk in to help a kid without a strategy. There has to be a plan. Without a plan, we're just wandering around. We don't have a direction to go. We have to have some type of strategy in place before we even work with a family. And I'm telling you, if you don't have a strategy for your life, you need to get a strategy for your life. Put your strategy together for your life before you even try to go into a family's house and try to put a strategy together for them. You have to. Because if your life is out of control, there's no way that you can focus on that family. There's no way. No way. You've got to get your life in a plan. You have to have goals. You have to have a plan. You have to work these steps before you can walk into a family and say, here's what you need to do. I only speak from experience. That's it. I'm not a family service worker, but I only speak from experience. The next one is practice. You know, the thing is we can give a family a plan, and we can walk out the door. Right? I can give a kid a plan to put vaping, and I can send them out the door. Or I can give them a plan, and I can practice that plan with them. Right? You can give a family a plan, and you can sit and practice that plan with them. 3 minutes, 5 minutes. We all have 3 to 5 minutes. And if we don't, let's get up a little bit earlier and make 3 to 5 minutes. It's hard to do, I know, but there's got to be some type of mindset to where this family needs change. And I'm in this position to foster that change with this family, not for this family, but with this family. And I will tell you, practice makes what? It does not. I stole that from Les Brown. Practice makes progress. If our mindset is practice makes perfect, we'll never attain it. But if our mindset is practice makes progress, we can cheer families on all day long. All day long. Hey, did you practice today? Yes, let's go. You made a little bit of progress. Hey, an inch is progress. An inch is progress. When I work with students and I say, hey, let's rate you today on a scale of 1 to 4. Where are you at today? And they go, a 1, but I'd like to be a 4. And I go, why are you looking to 4? Why aren't you looking to 1.2? Because that's progress. If we want progress, we got to look at the small wins, not the huge wins. Let's look at the small wins. Because sometimes we go into work with families, we're like, oh, you're not here yet. We set this plan 6 months ago, and you're not here yet. But we can walk into families and go, wow, look how far you've come. You've moved 3 inches in 6 months. That is amazing. Great job. I am so proud of you. You know how often, like, hearing that would make somebody feel, like, how great that would make somebody feel hearing that so often? I will tell you that my kids, they don't leave my house or my car without me saying, I love you, I'm proud of you. And it's not a like obligated, I love you, I'm proud of you. It's an intentional, I love you, I'm proud of you. Eye contact. Getting out of the car, hey, I love you, I'm proud of you. It's intentional. If we're intentional, getting a little bit ahead of myself, but if we're intentional with families, they'll see that and they'll feel that. And if they feel it, they'll receive it. And if you can get a family to receive what you're saying, you can get a family to believe what you're saying. Go ahead, baby. Go ahead. Oh, with training, I was gonna say, with training, sometimes we come into conferences and we walk in and we're just here to get our CEUs, right? Sometimes we get on Zooms and then we shut the camera off and we do other things just so that we can get our CEUs. If we're really real about helping families, we're going to lock in to those trainings. We're not going to just listen for little nuggets out of those trainings. We're going to take those trainings seriously so that we can take those trainings to our families and help them implement whatever those trainings gave us. I get it. I've sat on those Zooms. I've shut the camera off. I've done the other things. I've done my recording. All right, camera's off, doing my recording. What did I hear? Oh, do that? Okay, I'll do that, but I gotta get my recording done because it's due by the end of January. I gotta get that finished. Oh, and are you going to the break room? Will you grab me a cup of coffee on the way back? Oh, can you get my lunch on the way back too, by the way? Because I'm hungry. All right. Oh, what'd you do this weekend? Oh, great. Went to baseball game. All of a sudden, you're not even locked in on the training. And now what? Now what for your family? Now you've missed whatever that training was. And listen, I get it. Not every training is for you or for the family. But if you log into those when you're working with the family, your brain remembers those. And if something comes up in that meeting, your brain could go, oh, that training. There was a resource in there. And now I can give this resource to that family. Maybe that's all that training was for, but if you were busy talking about the weekend and you missed that resource, now that family has no access to that resource because we missed it. We were not practicing. We were not training. We were not putting in the effort to help our families. All right, we have to practice. If we want our families to practice, we have to put things into practice. And then mindset. Go to the next one. Mindset. Everything has to be intentional. Everything has to be done with purpose. Everything is intentional. My schedule is everything is like every block, every hour, every minute is intentional. There's not a minute of the day, except for when I'm asleep, that is empty. Every minute of the day is intentional. I have something that I'm doing every single minute of the day. My calendar is full. Because I want to be intentional with my relationships. I want to be intentional with my business. I want to be intentional with the people I'm working with. I want to be intentional. When I came into this room this morning, I came with intention. My intention was to make sure that people laughed and to make sure that someone learned something from me today. That was my intention. That was it. And if you leave here today and you haven't learned anything, please come to me afterwards and I'll be happy to just empty my brain onto you. Like this is a weird word, brain vomit. I won't use that one anymore. That me and Peyton were talking about the neurodivergence earlier. I think that was just,
It's a fun word.
I'm willing to just share whatever I know with you so that maybe you can learn something from me. And if not, then I'll make you laugh. If I haven't already made you laugh. And I'm pretty good. I'm an aspiring comedian. Not really. I'd love to be, but my kids don't find me funny. So we're not. All right, baby. So here's what it was. I had no proper preparation, none. And so here I am in high school. I'm 14 years old. I started smoking at 12, THC at 13, and at 14, I get invited to a party by two seniors in high school, and I think this is the coolest thing in the world. I'm like, yes, I'm going to go to a party with two seniors in high school. I go to the party, I drink alcohol, I get drunk, they drive me home, they drop me off at home. I walk in the house, my parents smell the alcohol on me, they can tell I'm drunk because I'm 14. Have you guys ever seen the goggles that kids, like, you take to the high schools and they put them on? Sometimes I take them to middle schools, and they don't make you feel drunk, right? But if you put them on a middle schooler, the middle schoolers all of a sudden start slurring, and I'm like, oh my God, and they're like, okay, it doesn't do that. But I was drunk. And the only thing my parents said to me was, you're grounded for 2 weeks. There was no conversation about the dangers of alcohol. No conversation about what it was doing to my brain. There's no planning for my future. There's no goal setting for my future. None of that. And to be honest with you, again, I had really great parents. I did. My dad supported anything that I wanted to be. When I was little, I came in, I was like, I want to be just like you, down and be in the Air Force. He's like, cool, be in the Air Force. Do that. He didn't tell me like, no, don't do that. There's no, it's not good pay, son. He didn't say that. He just, yeah, do that. And when I was 10, I was getting in trouble like every night for staying up and watching E&E and Evening at the Improv. If you're my age, you might know what that is. There's a comedy show. When I was 10, I told my dad I want to be a comedian. He was like, go for it, do it. He just supported everything that I wanted to do. And my mom was the same way. They weren't bad parents. They just didn't want to have these conversations. And back then, I don't know that any of us were really pushing these conversations except for the just say no campaign. And when DARE came in, they were like, here's how you do drugs. And here's where you find them. And we were like, all right, this is much easier. I was doing this the hard way. So I go to the party, I come home, they ground me for 2 weeks. The next week, my friends call me and they go, hey, we're going to a party, do you want to go? And I go, no, I can't, I'm grounded. And they said, hey, just sneak out of your window, we'll pick you up down the road, and we'll drop you off down the road. And I said, no, I can't. My mom is in my room every 5 minutes. I'm on lockdown. She is the warden. I'm half Mexican. My mom would beat me with anything if I walked out. It didn't matter. It did not matter. So I wasn't leaving. I said, y'all have fun. Enjoy the night. I went downstairs. I walked in my parents' bedroom and I said, you guys suck. You ruined my life. Typical 14-year-old reaction. And I ran back upstairs like a 14-year-old. I went to bed and my friends went to the party. They left the party around 11:30 p.m. that night. And around 11:38, an Indiana State Trooper got behind them. Now, we all know alcohol impairs your decision-making process. So instead of making a good decision, my friend, the driver, started to drive as fast as he could. Driving in and out of Indiana backwards. And the state trooper didn't know if it was a kid or was an adult. He didn't know. And so he kept chasing. And at 450 south, 950 east, my friend lost control of the car and he hit 3 trees in the front yard of my mom and dad's house. And I woke up at 12:03 a.m. because I heard the noise of the crash and I never heard anything like that before. And I sat straight up on my bed. And I remember sitting there for like just a moment. And I thought, something's wrong. I need to get out. When you hear a noise like that, the first instinct is to get out. It's like fight, flight, or freeze. I was flight. I wanted to go. So I got out of my bed and I ran downstairs. Now, this is the weirdest thing. The only thing I remember about what I was wearing was that I wasn't wearing socks. I know that. I don't know. I had pajamas on, sure, but I don't know what. The only reason I remember this is because my whole body was like hot. I was sweating. My heartbeat was racing, but my feet were cold on the floor. And I just remember that for whatever reason, my brain has kept that memory forever. When I got downstairs, my brother and my dad were still awake. They were still up. And they were already in the kitchen. And I said, what was that? And my dad was like, I don't know. Let's go outside and look. And for whatever reason, I was like, that's a good idea. So we went outside. And when we got outside, immediately we saw the flashing lights from the state trooper's car. So my dad said, stay on the porch. I'll be right back. So he went out and talked to the state trooper, and he came back and he said, "Hey, let's just go inside." And I thought, no, man, like, I'm gonna stay and watch. So I sat outside, I watched as the ambulances came. I watched as they worked to try to extract whoever was in these cars out of these cars. And they worked fast and furious, man. I mean, they worked hard. EMTs don't get enough credit for the work they do. Eventually, they put people in the back of ambulances, they took off. They left. The state trooper came up on the porch around 3 a.m. He said, "Is your dad still awake?" And I don't know, but I'll go get him. He goes, "Okay." And so I went and I got my dad, and my dad came out on the porch, and the state trooper said, "Let's go out in the yard." And so my dad started to walk off the porch, and I started to walk too, and the state trooper said, "No, son, you stay here." And I thought, well, that's weird. So I just sat down in the lawn chair. And I watched the state trooper talk to my dad. And he handed my dad 2 more cards. My dad looked at the cards. And he turned around and he looked at me. And I knew in that moment, I knew whose card that was. I couldn't tell whose card that was because it was so destroyed in the accident. But I knew my dad looked at me, like made that eye contact. I knew. You know when somebody looks at you and something's wrong? I knew. My dad and the state trooper came up on the porch. And my dad said my name. He said, "Nathan," like in a caring, soft kind of way. And I just stopped him. I started to cry, and I was like, "I know Dad." Say anything, I already know. And the state trooper leaned in and said, "If you need anything, give me a call." And he handed me his card, and then he left. And I thought, I looked at that card, and I thought, I don't know what I would need him for. And I went to my bedroom that night when I got up in the morning, and I started to hear my other friends call and talk about what had happened that night. I attached my hate and my anger to that part. I blame that state trooper for so long for chasing my friends, not for their bad decision. I blamed him. And you would think like these 2 kids died in your mom and dad's front yard. Go ahead. They died in your mom and dad's front yard. This would be your eye opener. This would be your revelation moment. This would make you stop everything that you were doing. But for me, it just made it worse. I didn't want to feel anything ever again. I didn't want to have any time. I didn't want to be happy. I didn't want to be sad. I didn't want to be mad. I didn't want to have any feelings ever again. And so if I could drink them away, I would drink them away. I would get suspended on purpose because my parents were home during the day, and I could stop on the way home and I could get liquor or beer or whatever, and I could just go home and drink and not feel anything. Like I wanted to be suspended. I wanted to be kicked out of school. That's what I wanted. Because I knew that I could just do whatever I wanted. Somehow, I don't know how, but I made it to my senior year. This is my senior picture. I know what you're probably thinking. Dang, he's so good looking. And you are. You're so right. If that's not a 90s picture, I don't know what is. The backwards hat, the shoes. I don't even remember where I got those shoes at. I was proud of them though. The baggy jeans for no reason. It was me. I can see why my wife fell in love. The senior picture says 96, but that was a pipe dream for me. 3 weeks before graduation, I was expelled. I didn't make it to the stage. I didn't get to wear my cap and gown. I didn't get to hand my diploma. I didn't get to hear my parents cheer for me. Good job. I was expelled from school, and I went home. My parents already knew. They come pick me up. I had a car, and I drove home, and I walked through the front door, and it wasn't "you're grounded" this time. It was "get out." And I didn't have anywhere to go, and I said, I don't know where to go. And they said, well, we've already set somewhere up for you to go. And I thought, oh, geez. I gotta go somewhere like a kid's home or something. It was worse. They sent me to live with our pastor. It was awful. She was like I was throwing holy water on me as soon as I walked through the door. He's like, get behind me, Satan. Nothing against pastors. I'd actually become one for a little while. But I tried to make his life hell too. I did. I wanted everybody else to pay for my feelings because I didn't have a plan. I didn't have any goals. I wasn't prepared for anything. And I just didn't know how to deal with life. Didn't have a clue. Y'all are working with families like that. And I will tell you that sometimes we look at them and we think like, geez, there's no hope. They're never going to get it. I promise you they can get it. I promise you. By the time I'll share an example here in a little bit. Go ahead, Kate. The fundamentals of prevention, communication. Go ahead, Kate. There's got to be clarity in our communication. We have to say what we mean and mean what we say. There's too much for protecting feelings today. And I don't mean that in a way of like, I don't mean that to like say we have to say harsh things. I think we have to be more direct with the families that we work with. If they're not putting in the work, we have to tell them you're not putting in the work. That's why you're not succeeding. We have to be honest. And we have to say what we mean and mean what we say. If we dance around the issue, it's going to take a whole lot longer for our families to heal. There's got to be clarity in our communication. This one's routines. If there's no routine for that family, then I'm sorry, but it's just chaos. It's complete chaos in the home. And if there's no routine in our life, there's complete chaos in our life. Go ahead, David. Routines create purpose. That's what they do. And I will tell you, your job is not your purpose. It's not. It is not. If you are approaching like, my job is my purpose, it is not your purpose. You want to know what your purpose is? It's you. You are your purpose. To live free internally, free from the negative thoughts, free from the feelings of worthlessness, free from the feeling of anxiety. You are your purpose. Your job is not your purpose, but if you can live free within yourself, you can find purpose in your job. That's how that works. Your job is not your purpose. But if we can do this for ourselves, we can do this for families. If we can help families understand that if they can become free within themselves from the doubt and the fear and the worry, and they can live free internally, then they can find purpose in being a father. They can find purpose in being a mother. They can find purpose in being an employee. Right? They can find purpose in these things. But they have to free themselves internally first. We can help them do that. Goals, right? With determination, with self-control, planning, all that stuff. It's all there for them. We try to overcomplicate it sometimes. We really do. And it's the same system that's been in place for years. If I do A, B, and C, and I plan for any obstacles that get in the way, and I know how to overcome those obstacles, then I can succeed with what I'm trying to do. I can get to the finish line. We haven't changed the process since the beginning of time. It's still there. I know what I need to do. Here's the plan. Here's what can get in the way. Here's how I overcome it. I got to the finish line. We overcomplicate it. Well, here's the plan, but let's double the plan and give it to somebody else. That's a tough one. Go ahead. This one. This is me and my wife's biggest tug of war with our kids. I want my kids to, this is going to sound harsh, I want them to fail. Not, I say that's my wife too. I want them to experience what it's like to have to figure it out. Sometimes we try to fix things for our family so that they don't have to fix it. Go ahead, Peyton. When you allow them to work through a problem by themselves, you're allowing them to be critical thinkers. When I used to manage stores, I had two types of employees. The first one I loved. And Nathan, I've got a problem. Here's my 3 solutions to it. Which one do you like? Which one do you like? I like solution 2. Go for it. Cool. Second one? Got on my nerves so bad. I got a problem. I don't know what to do. Can you come out here for a minute? What do you think you should do? I don't know. Can you please just come out here? Why don't you go back out there and give me 3 solutions to your problem and come back and tell me what they are. We have to help families be critical thinkers. If they come to you with a problem, ask them, what do you think the solution might be? Guide them. Right? Sometimes they need a little bit of guidance, and that's okay. That's okay. But don't solve the problem for them, because if you're solving the problem for them, you are not helping them. You are enabling them. You're not giving them any type of help at all. Okay, go ahead. This is me and my wife. When we got married, she didn't know that I had a problem with alcohol and drugs. She didn't know. I hid it while we were dating. I would go pick her up, I'd drop her off, and then I'd go to the bar and I'd go hang out with my friends and I'd get high and do all those things. And she didn't know. She didn't have a clue. But when we got married, she knew immediately because she grew up in that life. She grew up with parents who had substance use problems. And she knew immediately. My wife was not afraid to have a conversation. So I came home one night from work and stopped at a bar and had been drinking and pulled in our driveway, and she was like waiting at the door for me. I had this old Toyota Tercel, it was a 1997 Toyota Tercel, and it needed the door to be WD-40. I remember getting out of the car and the door. I didn't want to get out of the car, and so I was just moving the door so slow, and it's like, God, I don't want to get out of the car. Because I thought she was just going to tell me, like, I give up on you, like, get out. I don't want you anymore. So I got out of the car and I walked up to the front door, and she said, Nathan, you have 2 options. These are the options. You get sober or you leave. And I was in love. Like I was in love. I did not want to leave. I didn't. But alcohol makes you make really bad decisions. And I wanted to be a man. You don't tell me what to do. I'm a man. So I walk in the house, I packed my 3-month-old's Mickey Mouse suitcase full of my clothes, and I wheeled out of the house like a man. And we argued for 9 months, back and forth. One day my dad called me, and we really hadn't been talking. But he said, can I ask you a question? And I said, yeah. He said, what do you want to do with your life? And I don't know. I'm sure. He said, "You got a wife and a son. It's time to figure it out." And I hung up on my dad because I didn't want to hear that. I didn't want to have that. I couldn't have tough conversations. I remember just sitting in the garage that I was living in, thinking for hours. You're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're never going to figure this out. There's nowhere to go, nobody cares about you. And all these negative thoughts going through my head. And I went to Burger King to get something. And I ran into my mom. My mom was my neighbor. I knew that if I wanted something if I wanted money, I could get it from my mom. So I saw my mom and I thought, "Oh, free lunch and money." And I went up to her and I went, "Hey, Mom, how are you doing?" "I'm good." "You eat lunch?" She said, "Yeah, alone." "Oh. What are you doing after?" "I'm going to go home. I'm going to have a talk with your dad." "About me?" "Yeah." Can I ask about what? "I'm going to tell him how proud of you I am." "All right, I'll see you later." And I left. I didn't get lunch. To be honest with you, my life hadn't changed. I've been smoking marijuana all day, and I was hungry. I wanted Burger King. But in that moment, I could not handle that conversation. I didn't want to hear that. I didn't want to hear that I wasn't good enough, and I didn't want to hear that anybody was proud of me. And so I went back home and I sat in that for a few minutes. And I didn't have anybody else to call, and so I called my wife. And I didn't think she would answer the phone. Like I just thought, like, this is over. Like, we're so close to divorce. And she answered the phone and I said, I don't know where to get help, but I want help. Will you help me? And she said, "Yes, we will get you some help. Why don't you come home and we will get you some help?" And I was like, heck yes. And so I went home and I started walking towards our bedroom, and she's like, "Oh, no. Your room's over there." I was like, but she set up rules and consequences and a plan for me. Like there was a whole structure, there was a routine for me. And my life began to change through all of that, through all of it. And eventually we became a family. We became a husband and a wife. We became parents and good parents, but we together, we did not have a family plan. We didn't have a family plan. We had a husband and wife plan. We were just kind of going through life. We were wandering around. No plan. Go ahead, Peyton. And because we became poor. We didn't have a plan with finances. No plan. And so as we became poor, living with no electricity, no water, hardly any food, we had a hard time figuring life out. But I will tell you, there were two people that came into our life. One was a family service worker that our kids worked with at school. And the other one was a pastor. Both of those people came into our life, and they helped us set goals. And they put us on a pathway forward to leave that poverty-stricken life. And it was hard. It was difficult. It was that weird feeling of change. Weird feeling of change. But I will tell you, it's possible for the families that you work with. If it was possible for us, it's possible for the families that you work with. Go ahead, Kate. Poor preparation predicts preventable problems. That's what it does. You know what's going to happen if you don't plan. You know the outcomes. You do. You absolutely do. You can predict what's going to happen if you don't have a plan. That's easy. That's very easy. Go ahead, Peyton. We'll go through it. One more. No clarity. None. No sense of direction. You don't mean what you say. You don't say what you mean. Just doesn't happen. Go ahead, Peyton. No routines. None. You're just out of control. Nothing has its place. My mom says everything has a place and every place has a thing. There's no routines and there's no contingency plan. What happens if this doesn't work out? There's no contingency. For us in that house, there was no contingency plan. Where do we go if this house is when the landlord evicts us? Where do we go? Because that happened to us. There was no contingency plan. So when we set our families up with plans, when we help them set goals, we need contingency plans. How do they overcome those obstacles? They need to know those things. They need to implement those things. Go ahead, Peyton. Performance. Go ahead, Peyton. We're getting there. Oh, almost out of breath. You work out more. Right? So if they master the fundamentals, mastering fundamentals means to reflect on everything. And so if you're working your fundamentals, you're reflecting every single day. What went right? What went wrong? What can I change? Journal your day. Record your day. Talk to yourself into your phone. Whatever you have to do, but reflect on your day. Because if you can make changes and make them for the better, then your family can make changes and make them for the better. Right? Reflection has to happen every single day, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Even if you leave the family's house and you go, okay, I just met with that family, that it went really well, but shoot, I should have done this. And next time I go, I'm going to make sure that happens. I'm going to write it on my calendar so that when I go, it's on my calendar the next time that I go. And when I see them, it's going to be right there front and center so that I know that I'm going to have that conversation with this family because I don't want to miss it this time. Right? Reflection means everything. Right? Next one is adaptability. You have to be adaptable. If you want your families to adapt, you have to be adaptable. I would love to come in here and my clicker to work and you to be able to do this and not say Peyton every minute, but it's okay because I'm adaptable. We can figure it out, right? Improvise, adapt, overcome. That's the way that life works. If you can't do that, you're gonna have a really hard life. And if you can't improvise, adapt, and overcome, you're probably blaming everybody else anyway. It's not my fault, it's their fault. You have to be adaptable. And if you're adaptable, your families will be adaptable. Go ahead, Peyton. Because adaptability creates growth. We become better people when we adapt. I used to be the closed person. Something changes? Nope. One of the things that my wife used to say to my kids was, not to say that around your fathers, makes them upset. And I look back at that, I reflect on that, and I think, man, what an opportunity I had to grow back then. And it shouldn't have taken me this long to figure that out. But it did. And I've had those conversations with my adult kids, hey, sorry. I apologize. I messed that up. That's my bad. But just so that you know, when you have kids, you know now. You know how to do it differently. Learn from me. Take my mistakes and learn from me. Our families can do that too, the ones that we work with. Go ahead, baby. Stamina. Run your race. Right? Run your race. It's a marathon. It is not a sprint. It takes time. I don't know if anybody's ever ran a marathon before. I've walked a marathon. It took a long time. But you pace yourself. Families need to know that they need to pace themselves. You're not going to get there today. It's not going to happen today. It's probably not going to happen tomorrow, and that is okay. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't. If you're trying to make a change in your life, in any of you, if you're trying to make changes and you're not where you want to be, it's okay. It's all right. If you have the determination to get there, you will get there. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just reset the focus and move forward. That's it. We get so caught up in, oh man, I messed it up. Now I'm stuck here. I'll never get there. Never. Oh, I did it this morning on the way here. One lane of traffic went down one lane. I thought, oh, great. I was like 3 hours early. And I still was like, oh, I'm never going to get there. All these cars. It took 5 minutes. But that's where our mindset goes. When we're not getting where we want to be immediately. Just work with the stamina. Run your race. Go ahead, Hayden. Keep going. You pace it out. So my question to you is are you ready or are you prepared? Because there's a difference. How many of you got ready this morning to be here? All of you. I see everybody's dressed. That's a good thing. All right. We accomplished that. How many of you think prepared? Right? That's the question. All right. Let's go. You know, I go to conferences and I see the note takers, right? I see them. They're writing the notes and I love it. And I see the people who come ready to network. They've got the business cards and they're handing them out to network. But I also see the people who aren't prepared to be there. They just came ready. They just came ready to get their certificate to go home. They came ready to, hey, I gotta go to this conference. I'm gonna leave a little bit early. I'm gonna go explore downtown Knoxville. I'm just gonna do my thing. Right? That's being ready. Being prepared is I'm gonna go to this conference with the intention to meet 10 people that I don't know. Because they might have resources that I don't. I'm going to come to this conference. I'm going to attend every session and take notes in it because there may be something in there in those sessions that I can glean from and I can give to the families while I'm there. Right? That's living with being prepared. That's the difference between being ready and being prepared. So are you ready to go work with families or are you prepared to work with families? There's a really big difference. Go ahead, Peyton. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to give you a free ebook. I wrote an ebook for you guys. It's called "You Are the Light: Setting Intentional Goals in Family Service." You can scan the QR code. It'll go to my website, and there's a link on my website. It's free. Just click the link, and you can download it. And then if you're online, you can just go to nathanracespeech.com and download it there, or you can scan the QR code that you see on the screen. So once you have that downloaded, I have another free gift for you as well. So I'm like Santa Claus.
I'm not scared.
Oh, you know. Phil, we're gonna have a conversation after this.
I'm ready. I'm just not scared.
Everybody got stand? Joe?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, you can go to the next one. So this is a goal setting worksheet for families. You're welcome to have this as well if you want it. I do my SMART goals a little bit differently, and you'll see that on the goal setting sheet. You can have it. You can whatever you want to do. That send it to your friends. Sell it for 99 cents if you want to. It's yours to keep. Or set goals for yourself. Whatever you want to do with it. But I just wanted to give you guys a couple of things for you, so that you could, I don't know, so you impact families a little bit differently and hopefully in a more purposeful way, and just keep doing the amazing job that you're doing. I'm very, very thankful for the work that you all do. Thankful you all have impacted my life and my family's life as well. I will tell you that we have 4 kids now. Most of them are adults. Our youngest is 16, and she just got her permit. Took her a little while to get her permit. My mom had her license taken away this year. And my 16-year-old asked her for her convertible Lexus. And my mom said yes, but me and my wife said no. So, so our 16-year-old will be mad at us. But thank you guys for the work that you do. You all do amazing work, and honestly, just keep moving forward. If your families aren't making progress, give them a little bit of grace, give them a little bit of mercy, and just keep helping them to get wherever they're going, because they need it. They need it. It was people like you that helped me and my family get to where we are today, and I'm so thankful for you guys. So thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. We're done a little bit early. If you guys have any questions, oh, by the way, before you go, a hand for pay